Today on the program, we're coming to you from the University of Notre Dame. Is it lights out on Solandra's solar power? And the Federal Reserve lowers projected growth.
And congratulations, Bank of America customers. You renamed your $5 fee.
Go Irish.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am your host, Phatman.
And I'm Littleboy.
And our guest today is Cody James.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. And we're coming to you from the University of Notre Dame in Indiana.
Yeah.
Half of the show is coming from the University of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, the better half of the show is coming from...
We'll just call it we're going to call it the larger half.
The larger half. Actually, it is freezing here, and I'm from Southern California. So, for me, I can understand why Littleboy isn't with us on this trip. It is absolutely cold, but you can see Littleboy's here. And the best part is, if he gets too out of hand, I could just put him up.
Get away.
So, Littleboy, how was your week?
I've been pretty busy, actually.
Really?
I ran a mud run, and then last weekend I ran a 5K. And one of my kids just walked behind me. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not in the studio, huh? So when I'm gone, you decide.
I'm actually in my living room.
So when I'm.
So I ran a mud run and then I ran a 5K. So I actually made a decision. I'm gonna run the rock and roll half marathon next year. So I started training for that this week.
Very good. Very good. You know, we call him Littleboy, but he used to be my little round friend, as the viewers know, and lost a lot of weight, and now he runs like crazy. And I think it's basically because he's trying to run away from the truth, but he does run away. So, Cody, tell us a little bit about you. We came all the way across country to see you.
You did. I can understand why.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
See, I'm a freshman here, and I'm loving it. It's been about 2.5 months, and it's been pretty great so far.
Yeah. Well, Cody was nice enough to take our show around campus, so we're going to cut into that right now. Enjoy. Cody.
Hey.
Hey,
How's it
thanks
going?
for taking us around.
Sure, no problem.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Phatman and Littleboy Show. We are this week at the University of Notre Dame. We're meeting up with Cody, who's going to take us through the university today. Well, where are we standing right now?
Right now we're in front of a statue of Father Sorin, who founded the university in 1842. There's a statue similar to this in Sorin dorm, that if you walk in, it's good luck to touch Father Sorin's boot. So all the bronze is rubbed off of his boot.
All right, so we're going to take a little tour around the campus. Where do you think we should start?
Let's head over to the bookstore first.
Bookstore. All right, we're on our way over there.
Okay.
So, Cody, we're here in front of the bookstore, right?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about it.
This is where students purchase their textbooks at the beginning of each semester. It also has clothes, all kinds of souvenirs and accessories. It's really packed on game day weekends. There's over 120,000 people on campus. It's hard to get through the lines in here because it's packed continuously.
I was just in there. I purchased a shirt. You got a new shirt today, and they're not shy with their prices.
No, well, you're paying for quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're paying for the name, but
which is
I didn't
quality.
mind it. It's quality.
All
right.
Yeah.
So where are we headed off into next? What's that building back there?
That's the visitor center over on this side. You can head over there if you want.
Oh yeah, let's take a walk. All right, so we walked over to the alumni center here.
Yeah, the visitor center. You can come pick up any information about the campus, the history of each of the buildings. Alumni meet here on game day weekends and throughout the year for different dinners and events. It's a nice place.
All right, and now we're headed over to the dome?
The dome, the Golden Dome.
All right, let's head over to the dome.
All right.
All right, so we're standing in front of...
The Golden Dome, which is on top of the main building. It has all the administrative offices, counseling offices, admissions offices in here. Everything runs through here, pretty much.
Now, tell us a little story. I've heard a rumor about those steps that we're looking down there.
Okay, it's bad luck to walk up the front steps of main building. Actually, if you walk up, you won't graduate from the university, so they're very seldom used.
And there's something about the grass over in this area too?
All right, this is on God Quad, all the area surrounding main building and the buildings going down the sides. If you walk on the grass, it's bad luck also.
And
So-
you won't graduate.
You won't graduate. Right.
Okay. Where are we going to head next?
Let's head over to the Basilica.
I think I'm going to head up the stairs.
You can if you want to.
Well, I know I'm not going to graduate from here.
I won't be joining you.
All right, let's go. All right, so Cody, we are in front of the...
The Sacred Basilica. Yep. They have daily Mass in here. They also have Mass after each football game, before and after. Before is for the players, after is for everyone who wants to participate after the game. There's actually a wedding going on in here right now, so we can't step inside, but it'd be great to check it out.
Now, you told me something about the weddings there. You only have one day a year?
Oh, right. They have. You have to book them far in advance before your wedding date, and there's one day a year where you can call and schedule whatever time's available. Sometimes it'll be 8 in the morning, sometimes it'll be 7:30 at night, but it's just that one day to try and get your bid in.
For the way. Now, if Littleboy was here, he'd burst into flames.
I don't know. This was holy ground. I don't know.
Yeah, he would. He would burst right into flames. So, Littleboy, when you're watching this, be happy that you didn't come out here. One, because it is freezing, but the second is because you would burst into flames here. But this is beautiful. So, oh. All right. Okay, so let's head off to what's our next stop?
The grotto.
The grotto. All right, let's head. All right, so we're standing in front of the football stadium. I couldn't let this go. I had to see this.
Of course.
So
yeah.
my main question to you, Cody, is where did Rudy stay?
Rudy was on the other side from here. This is the south entrance, and the entrance that you see him running around in the movie is the north entrance.
Oh, we should have gone over there.
Yeah, well, this is closer.
But where didn't he live in a tunnel or something?
In the movie he did. I don't know about where he lived in real life, but we'll try and find him if we can.
We're going to try to find Rudy.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still living in there.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, so this week they play...
They play Maryland
Maryland.
tonight, but they're actually not home tonight. It's an away game.
Yeah. If they were home right now, would we be standing right here?
We would be packed in with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I heard that it grows by almost 100,000, right?
Yep, that's the average.
Wow, 100,000. All right, so we're standing in front of the football stadium, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So, Cody, we're
in front of the grotto right now. They have a daily rosary devotion around 6:45 or 7 o'clock. It's just a good, quiet place to come out and pray and light a candle and just reflect on the day. It's really nice. It's always very, very quiet and very powerful out here.
all right. Out of respect for the people behind us, we're not going to zoom in too tight, but this is a beautiful setting. I heard at nighttime it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I wish you could see it at night. It's with the lights lit up from the candle and the light on the statue of Mary. It's really nice.
All right. Okay, so we're going to head and go do our show in the dorm, which is...
Siegfried, best dorm on campus.
Siegfried Hall or Siegfried dorm?
Siegfried
All right.
Hall.
So let's get doing our show. Littleboy, we're coming at you. So, Cody, thanks for taking us through that. That was a great tour of the school.
Yeah, I'm sure there's much more I could have shown you, but there's only so much I can remember about the campus, I guess.
Okay, well, we got a lot of news to go through today. Let's start with the House Committee. The House Committee subpoenas the White House for more information on the Solyndra documents. Littleboy, have you been reading about this at all? Doubt it.
No, you've mentioned it a couple times. I haven't really delved in too deeply into this, to be honest with you.
Cody, have you been researching this or looking into this at all?
I read a couple articles on it.
Anything that you want to come up with? Because right away, I want everybody to understand that at one time, Cody used to work for a Republican state assemblyman who's now a Republican state senator, but now he has sadly gone to the dark side.
I would disagree.
You would disagree? You don't think you've gone to the dark side?
I would say I worked for a Republican representative. That doesn't mean I was the Republican representative, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm too far left that I'm off the edge here. I'd say I'm about 2 clicks left of center.
So you're not like Littleboy.
That's a good question.
Swing.
Wait, that's not. I'm not way left either. 2 clicks left of center is a really good place to be.
Right. I would agree with that. Yeah.
That's not you, Littleboy. That's not.
I might not be 2 clicks. I might be 3 or 4 clicks.
10.
I think. Oh, please.
Swinging.
Oh, please. I think 2 clicks left of center is a great place to be, though. I wish everybody was there.
We're close to the center.
Of course you wish everybody was there. The good thing is that they're not. If everybody was even close to the center on the left-hand side, we would have a lot of issues.
Oh, please.
Well, if everybody was, we'd be broke. Well, actually, no, you know what? We'd be like Russia, I guess, so... Anyway, I believe that our president is involved in this. I really like the fact that the government is helping companies try to get into alternative energy. We've talked about that before. I'm really a big, huge fan about alternative energy. This particular loan, I think, was a mistake. I think friendship got in the way, and there is no room in politics for you to give your friends anything more than they should get.
Well, wasn't this a company that was like a donor to wasn't this a big donor or something too?
Well, they knew each other. You know, the owner of the company, or they're not the owner, I guess they call him the CEO, president of the company, and President Obama were friends. So there's issue there. Plus, it's been extremely difficult to get the documents from the White House. They actually had to go to Justice Department and subpoena, and mostly the White House is really open with a lot of things. This particular thing, they're being very, very held back, I guess you could say, standoffish. And I'm just...
Kind of reminds you of the last White House, huh?
You know, again, we're talking about this White House. I know,
but it kind of brings up some memories of the last White House. They weren't real eager to give up anything.
And you criticized the heck out of them for that. So now it's our time to talk about this one. So I want to see where you stand here, because you bring up a good point. You criticized the death out of Bush for things like this. So now,
right, and you defended him for things like this.
But I want to see where you're.
So it's funny to watch you flip flop. It's pretty funny.
No, there's no flip flop with me. It's when have you ever seen me flip flop? You just don't. So anyway, let's talk about this. What do you think, Cody? Now I know you've done some research on it. I've seen some of the stuff that you've propped through.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say it seems like another Whitewater situation to me. Whereas I don't know. I don't think the government needs to be 100% transparent in certain issues, but, I mean, it says that what did they give? 20,000 pages of documents to the Republican committee that was investigating this. That seems like they're willing to cooperate a little bit.
Well, it's 20,000, but we all know how that works. And I will say this, in the Bush administration, when they did some research into the weapons of mass destruction, instead of just giving the information that was pertinent, they give everything. It's called the needle in the haystack effect.
Right, they try and bury it.
Of course. Mm-hmm. So 20,000 documents here, I mean, I think it's the same issue.
Sounds like they're trying to be helpful to me.
Oh, but now, what do you think, Littleboy?
I don't know. The fact that at least they're not fighting it, because
They did. They fought it for almost a year. It took
Justice almost a whole year?
Well, he's only been in 2 years.
As opposed to 8 solid years of fighting from the last president.
He's only been in 2 years, and they just started this a year ago. So come on.
And they're already releasing it, so that's not too bad.
Wow. So basically you're saying that it's all on the up and up and there's no problem there, huh?
Well, I think that there's I definitely think that the White House should be open to release things like this, and maybe it took a little longer than I would have liked. Not as bad as before, as the last president. But, I think definitely stuff like this needs to be looked into. I still think that wasn't the CEO of this company, or wasn't this company a donor in his campaign or something? I thought I had read that.
Yeah, he was. Well, they were friends, and he was a donor. They knew each other. I know that they sped this process through. Now, I actually want to give the president benefit of doubt on that. I would hope that he wanted to speed it through to help us gain a leg up on China, because China is killing us with solar. I would hope that's what it was. The problem is, well, the president had stock in the company. He sold it. Now, I could say two things. One, maybe he sold it because he thought there would be a conflict of interest. I'm going to give him that benefit as well, because maybe that's why he did. Yeah. Just happened to sell it before the company went belly up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, a little bit. Can you see a problem there or not? I mean, let's be honest.
When did he sell it?
He sold it after they had been awarded the money. I know that.
Okay.
So they had the money, and then he sold it, 5 months before they claimed bankruptcy? 4 months?
Yeah.
So he wasn't ready to be president.
Definitely needs to be investigated, make sure that everything was on the up and up. Kind of reminds me of the whole Dick Cheney-Halliburton situation that
and that was investigated to the T. Come on.
Yeah. That was not investigated. That was pushed under the rug, like everything else.
And I think that this might do the same.
Well, I don't think it should be. I think it should definitely be investigated to make sure there was nothing, everything's above board and everything.
Yeah.
I do want the government to continue, and I think one of the things you're telling me today was that pretty much the consensus of the United States.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a poll through the Huffington Post, was through the Pew Research Center, that said that although numbers are down as far as the public who still supports alternative energy measures, it's still an overwhelming majority. I think it was 68 to 70% still are in favor of it, which is, let's see, what was it? Yeah, it was 68% in favor and 26% opposed.
And I like that. I still want the government to be involved in that. And I think they have to be because in this case, free market is tough because I like free market no matter what. But energy is cheap. We had talked about this before. I'm upset about the price of gas. I'm upset about the price of energy. But still, it's at the point now where the average citizen doesn't really go towards it. If the government pushes to work on some of these programs, maybe they'll push the capitalist sector. Because there's a lot of people that don't want to invest in it, and maybe the government has to hold on to it. What do you think, little boy?
Well, I think that I definitely think that we need to invest in alternative energy. I still think, but it's not going to change. I think that we got into the game a little late. I think we should have been investing in it a lot earlier than we have been. But there's nothing you can do to change that. So we need to do everything we can because coal will be oil. Oil will be there for my life and for your life, but it's not going to be there forever, and we need to come up with different means of energy.
Well, it's interesting because Cody's a lot younger than both of us. He's about half our age, and where do you find it? Where do you feel on this? Do you believe that fossil fuels are still going to be around when your grandkids are around, or in your lifetime? I know it's going to be around in my lifetime, and I know it's going to be around in Little Boy's lifetime, and
it's going to be around in Cody's lifetime too. It's just the more we use, the harder it is to get to and the harder it is to extract. It's always going to be there for a long time. At the point, it's going to get to a point though where it's not worth getting anymore.
Well, and I don't know if I totally agree with that because Cody will be around in the year 2050, and in the year 2050, there's supposed to be 8 billion people on the planet. Now,
there'll still be a lot.
But emerging nations. Don't forget, China and India are just starting to drink the oil.
Right.
It's just a matter of time before they have, 4 to 1 almost, 3 to 1. Each nation has 3 to 1 of us. So if the United States uses 25% of the world's energy, these countries 3 to 4 times the size, and there's 2 of them that are that large, are just starting to do it now. 20 years from now, they're going to be well past the 25 mark.
They're going to be consuming at a rate that's far more than what we are right now, even though we're nowhere near as populous as they are. They're going to be consuming far more.
Sure.
It's going to be
their average person won't use as much, but since there's so many people, it'll make up in volume. And I think that's going to look what we've done so far. We've used about 30% of the world's resources in the last 100 years, and that was with.
But look how far we've come in solar energy just in the last 20 or 30 years.
Well, but that's us. And that's China too. But what the problem is, we're developing alternatives for everything. Driving here is the thing. Every farm that you saw, there's corn there, and almost at every farm through Illinois, the whole state of Illinois that I drove through, they would have signs out. This farm's using biofuels to grow your crops. Use this. Is your car running on ethanol today? They would have these signs as you're going down the road. It was really cool. But what I'm saying is, our farms are not only growing it, but they're using it. in China, the infrastructure is not built for that. It's built for right now. It's built for a lot of manual labor, but I think it's going to go to an oil economy just like ours, and I think it's going to take them years to get, past that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say it would definitely be around towards the end of my lifetime, but I think that, like you said, at the end of the day, is it going to be worth it to go in and get that last drops of oil?
Right.
And these alternative sources could prolong that even longer.
But there's something else I could add to that too. Of course, driving across the country, I took a week, and we went southern through the southern states and then up. Oil and natural gas exploration is going crazy. We as you saw from the video, we stayed at a motorhome, and in the process, we stayed at all these little campgrounds, kind of in the middle of nowhere, these little obscure campgrounds, and they were all full of people, and all of the people that were there were workers for pipelines, drilling, oil workers, all through Texas, Oklahoma. No, we didn't come through. From Texas, Arkansas, New Mexico. A lot of exploration going on there. On the way back, weather permitting, we might do a little more northern route, and I could see some of the other states. But right now, it's the way they're going. I would rather see them spending this money in alternatives.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's go to the next one. We were talking about last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. We were talking about, well, you brought this up, Littleboy, that the economy was going up. That it was a little bit higher than expected. Now, the Federal Reserve this week, they scaled back their projections of the growth for next year. Ben Bernanke admitted to the central bank's board this week that there was some distressing portions of the new average family income that was being an issue there. Did you read anything about it, Littleboy?
I read a little bit about that. I got an interesting take on the whole... It's not on the economy, it's on the way Fox News portrays it. I don't know if you want to talk about that today, if we have enough time.
We have time. Go ahead. Throw some out.
I just thought it was funny. In the morning, I was trying to find some screenshots on this, and I could not find any. So I just got to go from my memory. But in the morning, before I go to work every day, I go to the gym and I run on the treadmill. And every Thursday, they announce the unemployment numbers on Fox News, which is one of the TVs that are in the gym. So I always look forward to seeing that. Now, I remember back when things weren't going as well, it would show the unemployment numbers across the screen, and it would have a big green arrow pointing, showing that they were going up. And it did that for a while, and I'd see that and go, oh, that sucks, that sucks. And then recently, they started going down. So it would show unemployment numbers going down with a red arrow behind it, and then underneath it, though, it would show the unemployment numbers, and then underneath it would say, but economists expected, and it would show a number that should have been better, basically showing they're going down, but they're not going down as good as much as they were hoping. And it showed that for a few weeks. Well, then today, yesterday when I was running, it showed the unemployment number again, and it showed it going down, but it didn't show that economists expected number. And I kept going, why didn't they show that? Because they've been showing it every single week. Well, after they showed the numbers, they flashed on the screen for about 5 seconds that economists expected. And the reason why they didn't have it pronounced like before is because they actually expected it to be higher, and it was better than what it was. And I just thought that was pretty funny.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. All right, so let's talk about the numbers.
I wish I had screenshots of it. I'm going to keep looking, because if I find them, you can put them up. I thought it was pretty funny, because I know how you think they're so fair and balanced.
They are fair and balanced. You know what? Here's the thing. What would it be if it was another network that was if it was a Republican administration or conservative administration, and the same thing? They did the same thing.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah, but you wouldn't talk about it at all, which is really funny.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because you don't.
You don't know that.
Because you don't.
You don't know that.
I know that. You're funny.
I just happened to notice it. I wasn't even looking for them being the way they are. I just was saying, God, I wonder what economists were expecting, because they've been showing that every single time. And then this time they happened to not show it up. And I was going, wow, where's that?
Well,
and then they flashed it on the screen real quick. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, really riveting news there, little boy. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. That does, that's it. That's
it's not proof. It's nothing. That's just something that is something that I found funny. We'll say.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's go back to what the chairman Ben Bernanke has said.
Okay.
Just real news here.
Oh, so the Fox News isn't real news?
No, it's just that when you're talking about, you don't understand, and I know you.
I certainly recall about 8 or 9 podcasts ago, you made this big deal about how Fox News was the only one who showed some little tiny speech or something. You thought that was big, giant news, so I thought that this is just as big as that was.
Okay. Well, and that's why it's a Phatman and Littleboy show. You're able to actually, contribute some things. It's just as the stuff that you contribute, I mean, truthfully, is a waste of everybody's time. But anyway, so do you have something to add to this?
I don't know. I just watch real news, so...
Okay. Oh, okay. Well,
I don't purposely watch Fox News. It's just in front of me when I'm trying not to die on the treadmill.
What do you believe real news is?
I'd say there's a pretty big spectrum here, and from where I am right now, about 2 miles that way on the right is Fox News, and about 2.5 miles that way is MSNBC. I'd say CNN is a very happy medium. Right in the middle.
Oh, CNN, forget it. Well, here's the problem with CNN, and just so I'll throw this out there. CNN is not an actual U.S. media outlet. CNN is the UK. So you're going to get some socialist, agenda to it. You're going to get some outsider information.
Funny, somebody who listens to Fox News talking about another news having an agenda. That's pretty funny.
Well, do you really believe that if a organization is like, okay, then how come you just don't think Al Jazeera is the best?
I don't know. I don't watch Al Jazeera.
Of course you don't. Why would you? So what I'm saying is, that's the problem I have with CNN. Not that they're not fair, not that they're not balanced, although I think they're a little more liberal. It's just that they're not a U.S. news outlet. And I'd like to see the news stay here. If you're going to talk about U.S. politics and you're going to be involved in that, it'd be nice to be a U.S. company, not a company from a place like England, which is 61% unemployment.
I don't know. I'd say they broadcast from Atlanta. It's the world headquarters of CNN. They have American newscasters. Predominantly, I'd say they show mostly American news. That kind of qualifies them as being valid in my book.
I think that's a pretty weak. I think that's a pretty weak argument there, Phatman.
Well, I tell you the truth. The Clinton News Network is an issue. All right.
Is that a new network that just started up?
No, that's CNN.
Oh please.
Okay, so Bernanke. So let's go back to this. They had projected a 2.7 to 2.9 growth next year. Now they're down to about a 1.6 to 1.7. I'm trying to figure out, by looking at the numbers and trying to kind of see where the growth should be and where it isn't. Gosh, anything you're thinking of here? I mean, what do they do here? Because, okay, here's the deal. You're just a freshman in college now, but you got 3 years, right? 2-3 years before... at least you got to, when you're here, don't you work in a couple of years?
Yeah, I can. I can get some kind of federal work-study job or something.
Right, but you have to be thinking of the future. What did the students talk about? I mean, the jobs. Where's everybody trying to go to? I mean, a university like this, you're not just going to go be a ditch digger, that's for sure.
Right. At least our, not to toot our own horn or anything, but the business college here at Notre Dame has been ranked #1 in the nation for the past 2 years. So our business program is really exploding. We have a lot of students in the engineering classes and science classes, a lot of chemistry, biochem majors. So for the most part, it's leaning towards, I don't know, I feel like there's more professional degrees that people are seeking here to set them above other liberal arts degrees or liberal arts schools.
So basically you think that is that going to be your course too? I mean, industry, captain's industry kind of basically. It's not like it's a legal school, but basically the kids here are going towards being CEOs of corporations kind of thing, working their way that way.
I don't know. At least the people that I've talked to, they try it. At least the business majors that I've spoken to, they're looking at the high investment firms, and they're setting their sights really high. So,
well, what I'd like to know is, well, we know that the private sector jobs haven't really come back. Federal. Oh, by the way, we should talk about what happened in Ohio last week. I think we should talk about that. What do you think there, Jay? Oh, sorry, little boy.
Did they? Did they? I don't know their M. Did they? Did they? Did they? I saw. Did they vote that law down?
They voted the law down, which kept the government workers to allow to have collective bargaining agreement.
We had talked about how confusing it was before, so they voted no, which means yes, we can collectively bargain, right?
Yes, that's how they did it. So
well, that's good for them. Well, good for them. I'm happy that one worked out.
I am too, and I do have to give a shout out to the union that I was involved with in San Diego too. They won their strike. They struck for 1 day. And
didn't they strike during the football game?
They did. And 1 day, the company backed down, and that was it. It was a 1 day strike. Well, I mean, when you have no transit officers in San Diego during the busiest football season, I mean, you have a Charger game. Yesterday was the Chargers and Raiders. I do feel bad because there was.
We're not going to talk about it.
Let's talk about the Chargers. No,
we're not going to talk about the Chargers.
There was a Chargers and Raider game.
Hey, we're only one. We are only 1 game out of first place right now, so that's good.
Because they just lost the first place team. Yeah. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to them, but I do want to talk about federal sector jobs. They might come back, but remember when we talked with Angus that the federal wage is just very high. I think it was 120,000 or something like that, little boy, something in the neighborhood.
I remember what the number was.
And it was so high.
They just started. I just started hearing some commercials on the radio. They're doing some the workers for the post office are doing commercials, basically saying, "Contact your congressman. We don't want to lose our jobs."
Well, we had talked about the post office as well.
I know we did.
And right now, I mean, not to segue off on that, but since we're talking about jobs, there is, I think, 8 different post offices, like these main post office, I don't know what they're called, distribution houses or something, in the whole country. One of them is in San Diego now that has gone completely automated.
Wow.
Yeah, have you seen that on the news at all, little boy?
No.
Basically, the mail comes into it. It has scanners that can read, well, which is, because with the internet and different companies that are working on this, it's not that far-fetched to see, but they have scanners that can read the packaging. So they can read addresses, even handwritten addresses, everything. It automatically sorts and drops in the different mail bags. Well, they're actually like these mail box that they put in the trucks. So all of that sorting is gone, and it's redone it so that it's extremely efficient. So if you have a mailman that's on foot, which a lot of states have, it shortens their route. So in shortening their route, basically, they take away all the overtime, which they're upset about. And it makes it where, well, heck, if we can get 2 routes and we can cut 2 hours off of 4 routes, what does that do?
Yeah.
You
haven't heard the commercials, I assume, because you're not.
No, I guess not.
Their approach is pretty interesting, pretty smart, I guess, because they're basically talking about how they say they employ many ex-military people in the post office, so you don't want your ex-military people who have served your country to lose their job, so make sure you contact your local congressman and let them know you don't want them to cut the post office.
Well, that's harsh.
Yeah, I thought it was for them it's a smart way to approach it, because anybody who ever says anything against the military is automatically looked at as being un-American. Well, so they can just say, "Oh, you want to cut the post office job?" So I don't know. The thing that bothers me, we had talked about privatizing the post office and cutting jobs and all of that stuff. The problem is there's no other jobs for these people right now. So you help the government. If they try and save money by letting all these people go, all they're going to do is be going on to unemployment because there's no jobs for them right now.
But right now, the post office is in such a negative. Boy, I wish I had the numbers in front of me. We segued this off, but we had talked about this before. The post office has had a huge negative, wasn't it? In the billions Wasn't it like 600 or was it a million?
I don't think it was in the billions.
640 million maybe it was, or something like that. But it's in the negatives, and it's such it's in a negative so high that maybe, I hate to say it, that the postal employees that do lose their jobs, if they go to unemployment, I don't think the numbers would change. You know what I mean? Instead of the post office losing 640 million or whatever it was, I don't remember what it was.
Right.
Then it would just be more money towards unemployment. But
wouldn't you rather them at least be working to get that money instead of collecting unemployment for doing nothing? I mean, and it'd be better for them too.
I would.
They feel better about themselves working.
That's true. I would.
As much as everybody says they want to sit around and do nothing, you feel better about yourself when you're earning your money.
That's true. We wouldn't have the show. You know what I mean? If that wasn't the truth. But I would rather see maybe they use some of that money for retraining. I hate to ever see anybody out of work. I really do. But we know that it's a losing cause. You know? And we know that email and voicemail and now everybody's cell phone does everything. The smartphone.
Like with many industries, the post office was a little bit behind the times, and they didn't move quite fast enough when things started changing.
What's it going to do now?
Automotive industry got caught with their pants down too. Same thing.
What'd you say?
So how do you catch up from there?
You don't. The post office doesn't catch up. The post office is sadly done. I can tell you. I'll throw a story out there. My father, who, he was the kind of guy that would, wrote out all the checks, and everything would go through the mail. I can't tell you how much he uses the computer, and he's a senior citizen, so it's not like he's he's retired. He uses the computer for everything. Matter of fact, today, because he came out with me on the trip, he was doing his checkbook online. So everything for him that he used to use the post office for is gone. So it's not like, it's not like it's just I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think the post office is. I think it's junk mail. I really do. I think it's junk mail and government mail. I think that's it.
Is that the same father that's wearing the long sleeve blue shirt that I can see in the picture right now?
Yeah, because you can see him. He's actually working the camera for me.
Oh.
Sorry. Now the last name's out too.
You might have to beat that. I'm sorry.
So, anyways, that's funny. I'd like to get a younger perspective on that. I mean, what do you see? Because have you ever used a postal service?
Yeah, I have friends at other colleges across the U.S. that we kind of set up a little pen pal system where we write each other letters. And I find it fun. I like to be able to write out a letter, put a stamp on it, send it myself, and I don't know. It's interesting.
I grew up having to do that. What about you, little boy?
Yeah. I can't remember. What's funny is I can't remember the last time I did that. That's so funny, though, that they do it for fun.
Yeah, they're doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And last week I had to...
It's like going retro.
I had to mail, before I left, I had to mail some property tax stuff. In California, you paid property tax on everything. I paid it on my boat, and there was no online... I looked through it. I couldn't believe there was nothing to do online. I had to actually mail it. Do you know how hard it was to find a stamp?
Yeah.
Who's got a stamp? I think
I got some in a drawer somewhere.
I went through my whole desk. I thought, where do I even get a stamp? Well, I have to go to the post office. I don't want to wait online at the post office. So when I was at my ATM, the ATM sold stamps. I couldn't believe it.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
I had to buy a little book of stamps to mail one thing. I thought, this is ridiculous because everything else you could pay online. Everything you pay online. And this thing had nowhere to pay it online.
Yeah, amazing.
But they do it for fun. That's actually that's priceless.
We try.
Well, gosh, I tell you the truth, we have one more thing that I kind of want to talk to because I know this is going to have a big impact, I believe. We need
to talk about Bank of America, don't we?
Oh, my gosh, we need to talk about Bank of America.
I know that you didn't email me any show notes on that, but I thought it'd be maybe interesting to talk about. Did you ever, I couldn't find any numbers when they had that big bank move day or whatever. Did you see any numbers on how many people actually changed banks? I heard it was a lot.
800,000.
Wow.
Is what I heard. Now, that was not concrete. It wasn't something that Bank of America put out. course not. I mean, they're not going to do that. That was from a company that I think they ran kind of like a Nielsen rating kind of idea and asked you, did you change your bank? You know what I mean? For so many people. They extrapolated it out over how many customers there was, and they came up to 800,000. The funny thing about the 800,000 numbers, that's the same number they came up with Netflix, too. So that could just be where they pull out of their hat.
You know, a couple of things. There's an article on MSN, and it was like the...
Hello? Are you still there, little boy? Well, sorry, folks, we're back. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. We're actually working the whole system off of, believe it or not, my lovely HTC, excuse me, Google Droid phone. We're running the internet through it. So the stream that you're getting is coming through that, and also Little Boy's coming through that as well. So
that was beautiful product placement.
It was. And we would like to thank
Brought
HTC.
to you by.
We would like to thank Google.
For getting us almost all the way through the show.
Almost all the way through our show. So, yeah, coming back to that 800,000, that's the same number they use. But anyway, you were talking about a couple of places that you had read some numbers on.
No, what I had said was I read an article and they had the top 10 worst business decisions of all time, and two of them were Netflix and Bank of America's $5 charge, which were just within the last month, you know. So I don't know if you watch Saturday Night Live, but
I do.
Seth Meyers said, did you see what he said about that?
No, it's being taped at home.
Okay.
Again, on the road.
He said, well, Bank of America decided to not do their $5, ATM fee or whatever, or bank card fee. So congratulations, everybody, for getting that $5 fee changed to a new name.
Yeah.
Because they're still going to find a way. They still got to find a way to get that money. So they're just going to charge it somehow a different way. So I thought that was a pretty funny take on it.
Well, Netflix lost hundreds of thousands as well. Of course, they said 800 too. And they came back they killed that Quickster. They killed all of their ideas. But what did they not do? They did not change their pricing back.
No, and Blockbuster is all over that. They're advertising like crazy about how you can still, their prices haven't gone up. Everything's the same price, and their advantage is they still have the brick and mortar store, so you can get it through the mail. And if you don't want to wait, you can walk it into the store it without having to wait for it to come through the mail.
That's true too. So it's kind of like the Redbox idea there for them.
Yes.
Their streaming isn't as good. They don't have as many. I think they only have 6,000 titles.
Yeah.
Which is a huge number, but yeah. Do you use that service here?
I use Netflix, and after this summer when they sent out the email saying that their prices are going to be changing, we did cancel it. But then we signed up for just the streaming option. So now we're paying just about the same amount for just streaming, but it's all right. And they're actually trying to get Redbox here on campus, by the way, in the student center, which hopefully that'll work out well.
Redbox is awesome. Redbox is really good. I used it the first time in Montana last year and loved it.
I've never used it, but I see them at just about every time I drive by 7-Eleven. I see one of those things.
Yeah, it's just $1, any movie you want to see, and you can take it back to any Redbox.
Oh, okay.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's not even like you have to bring it to the same Redbox. When we were traveling through Montana last year on vacation, we're at one Redbox and then another Redbox, and boom, done. I don't know how that works, but
what a great thing for people who are like traveling across the country with kids or something like that.
Right.
Or truckers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, truckers too. Yeah, we want them watching movies while they're driving. That's good.
They stop. They can only drive 10 hours, right?
I know. Yeah, and they all only drive 10 hours too.
Well, the liberal ones don't.
Please.
I hear you have an airplane going to crash into your house any moment.
Yes, it's flying over again. Maybe they're looking for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's what is that helicopter? The sheriff. The sheriff is and he wants to scope you because he knows. Oh, there's that little boy. Let's get him. I do want to talk about one other thing, and the Bank of America fees was something I wanted to. I completely forgot when you sent me that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a mistake. They'll find another way to get us. You're right.
They will. They need to make up all those fees that they weren't collecting before. So.
I'd like you to kind of take this one, little boy. This is something that you had talked about before it was on in MSNBC. Was that the president announces student loan relief?
Oh boy. Well, that was it was basically. God, I'm trying to remember now. That was a long time ago. Let me bring it up here. Wasn't it
Well,
a couple?
since once again you're unprepared, I'll go ahead.
I am. I didn't know you were going to talk about that.
It was on the show notes.
I know, but I thought it was old leftover.
Okay, speaking of University of Colorado, Denver, President Obama said he and his wife, Michelle, together he said that they owed more than $120,000 in law school debt, and it took nearly a decade to pay off.
Yes.
He said that sometimes the ability to make a monthly payment on that was between that or eating. I mean, and I can understand that. $120,000 is pretty expensive. By the way, what does it cost here?
I think with the newest estimation, I think it's up near 59 to 60,000 for everything.
Per semester?
Per year.
Per year. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So if you get a 4-year degree here, you're at $240,000.
Yeah. I don't think it's right at 60, but it is. It's approaching 60. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. Is that including dorm and living and everything too?
Yeah, that's everything included. Transportation, like health services, everything all in one.
That's a pretty decent paying full-time job, and every single dime you make would be going to that.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, that's $250,000. And how long would it take to pay off a $250,000 house? 30 years.
That's nuts. You're only paying a little bit of it.
So I could understand how this could help. What I'm a little bit nervous about is that, once again, this is going to roll into that DREAM Act. I have no problem with citizens getting better or more financial aid to go to college. I think that more people should go to college. What I have a problem with, again, is if we go down that road that we talked about in the DREAM Act, where illegal aliens are allowed to use the same amount of money, because someone is paying for this. It's not free money. Someone is definitely going to pay that $240,000.
Right.
So, where are we at on that?
Well, a couple other things that we didn't mention that the bill or that the thing was going to do is it lowered the required payment on your student loan from 15% of your discretionary income to 10%, which I think is good.
Right.
That helps.
And he also capped it. It would the remaining debt would be forgiven after 20 years instead of 25, which is also good. I'm curious how much interest is collected on these debts. You think, after 20 years, if you haven't paid it off, you don't have to pay any more. But as with most loans, after 20 years, you probably already paid more than what you borrowed off anyways.
Well, most loans, even at 2 or 3%, if you take that, let's say it was a 5% loan, and you take it over 30 years or even 20 years, you're paying.
Let's go to 20.
You're going to pay that loan over twice.
Right. So I think that's
set that way.
I think that's a great deal too. Why should you have to pay for that for more than 20 years? That's a long time to have to pay for school.
Well, I understand that, but remember, you are borrowing the money, so they should have to at least pay it back.
Right. Well, after 20 years and paying 10% of your discretionary income every month towards it, I would have to think that you probably have paid it back.
Yeah, well, I would hope so.
As long as there was a job waiting for you when you got out of school, which is a little bit of a problem right now.
It's a huge problem right now, but don't they give you a couple of years, or how does that work? I don't know.
Well, we got a student loan. My wife went back to school. We got a student loan. We actually had 6 months after she graduated before we had to start paying it back.
And what was the interest on that?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I just make the payment.
I would know the exact rate, the exact penny, the exact...
Why? How does that help? How does that help? Probably just make me more mad. It probably just make me more mad knowing how much is actually going towards the principal. Why get mad? Just pay it.
No, because you're supposed to know every dime that comes in and goes out. That is a...
Hey, I just look forward to, in 19 more years, if it ain't paid off, I don't have to give them any more money, so...
Of course, that's how you figure. Gosh, I do like that. I hope that they help out, and I hope it helps out students like yourself.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think the Republicans were fighting it, by the way.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they want to fight everything Obama does.
Well, maybe, but
whether it's good or bad, they just want to fight it.
Speaking as a Republican, I like the fact if it's used the correct way to help students out. Because yes, they have to pay it back, and they do have to pay it back in here. Dropping the discretionary income, yeah, you're only taking 5%. you're taking it down 5%. They still got to pay it over 20 years. It's still leaving in the same laws where you can't bankrupt it out.
You can't bankrupt it, which I agree. I think that's a good one. You should not be able to bankrupt,
Because they would.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Some people would.
Now, the schools, though, they're 200. I mean, Notre Dame, okay, that's where we're at. It's, top school in the world, okay? I understand that. $240,000 for 4 years. My gosh, that's just a lot of money.
Well, just because it costs $60,000 doesn't mean everyone pays that. I mean, with financial aid, it marks it down very significant amounts.
But that's still what they're. I'm not saying that's what you pay, but that's what they would get if there was a full boat. You were coming to the school. Here's my checkbook. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And there's how many students here?
I think there's about 8,600 underclassmen.
Wow. So do the math on that. Now, I know Littleboy won't do the math on that because he doesn't care about the numbers, but that's quite a bit of money. Let's just put that into it. Gosh, is there anything else you wanted to get to, Littleboy? Because I think we're running a little bit long from the previous segment, too, that we had the tour of the campus again. I want to thank you for.
Sure.
I saw that you had posted a letter, email. Did you want to do that this time, or do you want to do that?
Absolutely want to do that this time. Let's get to. Well, that's what I was going to do. I was going to get to our emails.
Okay.
Okay. This email is from Ray. Do you want to read it, Littleboy? Yeah, you read it, Littleboy.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
From Ray, I like the show, especially Phatman's view on politics, as I am a conservative.
Okay, we like Ray. That's all we have to talk about on that.
I'm sure Ray's a fine gentleman.
Ray's a good guy.
I have a few questions for our friend, the agnostic atheist or free thinker. I have a few questions for our friend, the agnostic atheist or free thinker Littleboy, to ask either Phatman, who I think is Catholic, or a clergy of any faith. I would be very interested in their responses to these questions. Okay, so he wants me to ask you a couple questions.
That's why I'm letting you.
He thinks you're Catholic.
I'm not.
You think you're Catholic too, don't you?
I'm not.
What do you think you are?
I am non-denominational Christian.
Okay. All right. Question number 1, he says, I have been taught throughout my life everyone has a soul, and depending on how they live and believe, they will either go to heaven or hell. What happens to a person's soul when they have Alzheimer's, amnesia, brain damage, or just go crazy? Their physical body and brain is intact. Where is the soul?
Well, Ray, first, thank you for your question. I am not a preacher. I don't pretend to know everything about the Bible.
I think he's just kind of wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
We don't think you speak for everybody. We just want to hear what Phatman thinks.
Well, what Phatman thinks. Everybody is born innocent, and it's what you do throughout your life that is your decision, what's going to happen to you in the afterlife. I think that person's life, as they led it, is what they'll be judged on. When you start losing your faculties, you become innocent again, because now you're not making a conscious effort to do something either way. There's no way you could be held to that, and that's the way I feel about it.
So you feel the same way when, if somebody goes supposedly crazy, I'm using air quotes here, crazy, and kills a bunch of people, they're not responsible for that. None of that counts towards heaven or hell.
Well, because you did the air quotes, no, because the air quotes, you're saying that the person.
Let me say goes crazy without the air quotes then, because I know people throw that crazy word around to stay out of the electric chair a lot.
Yeah.
So what if somebody just goes, I guess it's all open to interpretation whether somebody's crazy or not,
Because we don't know the truth.
Right.
But obviously God knows the truth. So on that there...
that's a matter of opinion as well.
Anyway, that there, you can't hide from that. You know what I mean? So how can I make that...
We'll just say that the person who shot everybody knows the truth.
Yeah, he in God. So what happens is, on that, I wouldn't know. But I can tell you one thing. In the Bible, it does say that you are to care for the elderly and the sick. And if you have a family member who has Alzheimer's, or you have a family member who has done that, kind of lost their faculties, you will be judged if you take care of them. Mm-hmm. So, Ray, thank you very much for your email, and keep them.
He's got one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
Question number 2. Most religions require a person to be baptized to cleanse them of their sins. Where in the Bible does it give instructions on how this procedure is to be accomplished? Sprinkled water or submerged?
John the Baptist did that. I don't know. Some religions are crazy. They'll with baptism.
I remove your word
calm
some
down,
and
little
say
boy.
all.
Calm down, little boy. Some will drown you, and some just sprinkle you. I have no clue on how they came up with different ways.
It's basically just whatever particular church or religion's interpretation is, because it doesn't really say in the Bible exactly. There's no detailed instructions or anything.
There was a deal about, not a deal. There was something in the Bible where Jesus brought people to the river and submerged their whole body. Then there was others where John the Baptist submerged them in water that was blessed. So they sprinkled them with water that was blessed. So there's both sides of it. So there you go. I mean,
so they both count.
Yeah, I guess. But again, I'm not. I am in no way.
No, I think.
Answer a question, so.
We all are aware of that. I think he just wanted to know your cookie belief on it.
Oh, wow. We actually have like 4 or 5 emails, but we're a little bit long this week. I have been for the last few weeks. If you've sent emails, you have noticed. I have been answering them. Little boy doesn't like to answer them, so I don't know why. He's kind of a jerk.
Lazy.
But lazy.
I'm lazy.
And procrastinator.
I am a procrastinator, that is for sure.
Did you see this week on our Facebook the picture that I threw up on there?
I didn't. I saw that you had commented on the picture that I threw up there, but
I have found, and because this netcast is coming from across the country, we're not going to have the same. I'm going to be doing the editing on this, so I hope nobody's offended. But we won't have our little pictures up behind us. But if you go to our website, or actually to our Facebook, which is Phatman and Littleboy, is Phatman and Littleboy at Facebook, right, Littleboy?
Yeah, you just go to Facebook and look and search for the Phatman and Littleboy. You'll find it. You're
gonna see that I have found what our Vice President Biden actually does.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, this is what he does for a living, other than being the Vice President. I loved it. So, and I normally never put any political cartoons or pictures up. I just don't.
I'm just happy we have a vice president right now that's not shooting his friends in the face.
Hey, maybe they deserved it. All right. Well, I think we should end the show on this note.
You haven't. I'm actually on our Facebook page, and your picture didn't post.
Oh, it might have got knocked out.
Yeah.
Who knows? It was actually really good. I'll try to figure out how to post it again.
I remember what picture you're talking about, though. It just hasn't posted yet.
Take a look at our website, everybody. If you ever want to get in touch with the show, it's comments at phatmanlittleboy.com, or you can give us a phone call.
Oh, I'm unprepared again. Hold on, I got to bring up the... I'm not used to...
Oh my gosh, you got to spoon feed this guy.
Yeah, you know what, I don't have it here. You're going to have to do it.
All right, you can give us a phone call at 858-522-9164. You can follow us on Twitter at PLMB Crew. Hopefully these make it on the website or on our netcast. I'm going to try to do that. If I mess up, I apologize.
You can download us on iTunes.
You could download us on iTunes, and you can go to phatmanlittleboy.com.
Yep. And also, if you go to
whatever, he's messing around. I wanted to thank Cody James for again showing us around the campus. I hope everybody enjoyed that, and letting us come out here and talk to you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to
add? Go Irish.
Go Irish. Hey, how are they doing?
We play Maryland soon, so we should be. I don't know. I don't like to comment on things until after they already happen, just, to cover all the bases. But I feel like we're going to do well.
Good.
Have you been to any of the football games?
Yeah, I have. I bought a student booklet, and it's an experience. It's pretty great to be there for the whole game and to stand up, do the Celtic chant, and sing the alma mater at the end.
This whole town here has got nothing but Go Irish on every window of every house. They got their colors everywhere. Matter of fact, you'll see me hopefully wearing, when I get back, I'll wear some of the stuff that I purchased here. So, anyway, again, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you all for watching the show. And we'll be back, not next week. I'm sorry, I'm traveling back. Maybe we'll do a little bit of segments or there, but the week after. And that's it. Little boy, it was good talking to you.
Yes. You know, if we were smart, we would have probably tried to do this a day in advance just to test it out so we didn't have so many glitches.
Hey, you know what? They never said you were smart.
No. But I was referring to both of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part. Apologize again. You know, the sound is not accurate. It's coming through my cell phone. Oh, again, my Google cell phone. Thank you very much. All right. We'll see you real soon.
Take care.